Welcome to our poster board session on the Washington State Family Outcome Survey. Today we want to talk to you about how we use stakeholder engagement to improve response rate and representativeness. Hi, my name is Vanessa Allen and I'm the Family Engagement Coordinator on the Early Support for Infants and Toddlers team, ESIT.
And my name is Kim Hopkins, and I am the ESIT Data Manager for the state of Washington.
During this poster session, we will share history of the Family Outcome Survey, why we contracted with Washington State University, insights and feedback gained through the stakeholder engagement process, methodology and collection methods, final response rate, and representativeness. The Family Outcome Survey is an integral part of our program's annual performance assessment. The Family Outcome Survey has changed over the course of the last 10 years, from the tools used to the execution. In 2018, a major change was made, and the responsibility of the distribution of the survey changed from our contractors to the Washington State ESIT headquarters office. After an initial decline in response rate, the Washington Part C program staff, in collaboration with the State Interagency Coordinating Council and the Parent Institute for Engagement, developed strategies to increase the response rate. Why we contracted with Washington State University. Washington State staff had been reading lectures from Dr. Don Dillman, who is a professor at the Washington State University. We were inspired by his approach and thoughts, and were able to consult with him on several occasions prior to the beginning of this project. Some key performance indicators we identified prior to the redesign of the survey were response rate, representativeness, and accessibility. Once we identified the areas we wanted to improve on, we contracted with Washington State University and the Social and Economical Science Research Center, who helped us develop a new survey tool and facilitated the survey distribution for the state of Washington. The ESIT State Leadership Office was using the revised 2010 Family Survey outcome, as pictured on this slide. This survey was 3 pages comprised of 41 questions, plus 6 supplemental demographic questions. It was available in 5 different languages, and a follow-up phone call was made to those families who did not complete their survey. Phone calls were made by an interpreter who spoke English and Spanish and used the language link for additional languages used. DCYF and Washington State University met with stakeholders. Washington State University attended 2 State Interagency Coordinating Council Service Delivery Committee meetings, 1 State ICC meeting, and a Parent Institute for Engagement Survey Workgroup meeting. Some ideas we heard were to make the survey shorter, use simplified text and a friendlier tone, include pictographs, smile, frown faces, to assist with lower reading levels, reduce the response options, email or text the survey as many people did not check their mail. We also personalized the survey and cover letter to include the provider, agency, and child's name. And we also had the DCYF Family Engagement Coordinator sign the letter. We focused on accessibility and response rate. We included a $1 incentive. We translated it into 12 different languages. We used a multi-method approach, which was mail, phone, and web. We simplified text and used a friendlier tone. We made the survey shorter, fewer response options, included pictograms, personalized provider, agency, and child's name, and again, used a letter signed by the Family Engagement Coordinator. As you can see here, this is the new Family Outcome Survey created. It has a general layout, 4 sections of questions. Section 8, Indicator 4A. Section 2, Indicator 4B. Section 3 and 4, Indicator 4C. We translated the survey for 12 languages in addition to English. The languages that were spoken were based on the data collected in the ESIT data management system. Washington State University began mailing the surveys on November 3rd of 2020. The survey was mailed to the family in their primary language listed in the ESIT data management system, DMS, as well as in English. A $1 token of appreciation was included in the survey and cover letter. The survey was available electronically in all languages except Arabic. Of the 4,216 eligible surveys mailed, a total of 1,915 surveys were completed and returned. The final response rate was 45.4%. This is an increase of 106% from the previous year. Of the 4,256 surveys mailed, 40 recipients were deemed ineligible. The term ineligible is defined as people who stated that they did not participate in the program or did not participate in the selected timeframe.
On this slide, you see the comparison between surveys mailed out and surveys received. We are looking at race and ethnicity and can see that the largest discrepancies were in the white and Hispanic Latino populations, where we can see a difference of 2% between the respondents and this difference was determined to be insignificant, and we are happy to see our families so well represented through this data. We wanted to provide a little bit more information on representativeness in terms of language. This slide shows you the breakdown of the languages that we received survey responses in, and the number of responses for each language. As an example, a total of 3,778 English surveys were sent out to families, and we had 1,727 responses being returned to us. We also sent out surveys in Arabic, Bengali, Chinese, French, Hindi, Korean, Punjabi, Russian, Somali, Spanish, Tagalog, and Vietnamese. 4,216 surveys were sent out, and a total of 1,915 surveys were received. All our surveys were sent out to our families in the language spoken in their household. This information was retrieved from our data management system, where the Family Resources Coordinator can indicate the language spoken in the household in the child's file. You can see that a total of 4,216 surveys were sent out, and 1,915 surveys were received by our program. The largest discrepancies are in the Arabic and Chinese categories, but these are still less than 1%. We're very happy they show that our efforts to make surveys accessible to families are coming to fruition.
We will be conducting an experiment with the Washington State University for our next Family Outcome Survey mailing. This includes families that will be grouped up in Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 will receive an email, letter, and incentive 1 week after the email. The letter provides the web link and access code and encourages respondents to complete the survey via the web. Group 1 receives this letter instead of the reminder postcard. They will also be receiving an email reminder 3 days after the letter, a paper questionnaire 1 week after the letter, a phone call 3 weeks after the paper questionnaire is mailed. Group 2 will receive an email, a paper questionnaire, and a $1 incentive 1 week after the email, an email reminder 3 days after the letter, a postcard reminder 2 weeks after the paper questionnaire is mailed, a phone call 2 weeks after the postcard or letter. The non-English survey will not be included in this experiment. They will be sent with Group 2's method so that they receive the paper questionnaire in their native language as early in the process as possible. In both groups, the individuals who respond to the email invitation in the first week will not receive the incentives because the mailings will only go to the non-respondents. With these methods, it is very important that DCYF and the providers get the word out to parents that the survey is legitimate, so parents will take the chance of clicking on the survey. Thank you so much for joining us today. This concludes our presentation. We welcome any questions or comments you may have.